Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Chicago, Illinois, Common Law Lectures. What is today's date? Sunday the what? 18th. Today's Sunday, March 18th, 2007. Yesterday when we left, this lecture that I'm doing is about how to survive the fall of Rome. Yesterday, I had to clarify for you that this was Rome and show you, and the evidence that you can go and find and research. That's why I gave you the names, the years, and dates, and things like that to validate that what I'm telling you is accurate. Because in order for you to know that this is Rome, you have to see that for yourself. In order for you to survive the fall of Rome, you have to know that you are in Rome, and a lot of people were not aware that this was Rome. One of the things that we left here yesterday closing on was that Rome is a federal city in the See, S-E-E, of Baltimore. And the word see means the jurisdiction of a bishop. Now, Baltimore, Maryland was some land that was secured by Lord Baltimore for the Vatican. Now, at this time, that area, or a part of it, is what was given over for Washington, D.C. The reason I'm bringing that up is because on July the 10th, write this down, of 1984, at the invitation of President Ronald Reagan, the smallest country in the world, which is the country known as the Vatican City, and its ruling head, which is the Pope of Rome, or the Roman Emperor, the Holy Roman Emperor of the Roman Empire, officially opened its first embassy, which is called the Apostolic Nunciature of the Holy See. That was the official opening date, and it opened at 3339 Massachusetts Avenue, Northwest, Washington, D.C. That is the embassy for the Vatican. That's when they set up shop for real and made it official. They were always running stuff, but for those that didn't see it before, you really need to see it now. Yes.
The address again?
3339 Massachusetts Avenue, Northwest, Washington, D.C. Now, how many people have noticed the fasces? The fasces, I can't really draw it, but it's like a bundle of sticks. Usually whenever the president is talking, I'm not a very good artist, it's bundled together, a bunch of sticks. Dr. Suzar would call it a bundle of penises, knotted together. You guys know Dr. Suzar, right? Yeah. She wrote some very powerful books. The first that came to people's mind was a book called Blacked Out Through Whitewash. It's a big book, and it's about $50 a book. And then her next biggest bestseller is a book called Drugs Masquerading as Food.
Yeah.
That is a bestseller amongst European peoples.
Yes.
And this is another, because today we're talking about how to survive the fall of Rome. This is another great survival booklet, which the sister said she has some information that she is going to pass out regarding this book. It's called The Black Empowerment Survival Guide Now. You can get this book directly from Dr. Suzar at her website, which is suzar.com. Okay? And she will send it out to you. That's one of my dearest sisters. Now, my book back there, Piercing the Fog, is not about surviving the fall of Rome. but there are a few copies back there. Those are mostly for people that need to be awakened about the things that you already are coming to know, and they're not really listening to you. However, my strongest recommendation for you, for the people that you want to wake up that aren't trying to wake up, is Piercing the Fog. Are there any copies of that left back there, sweetie? Or are they all gone? No, the DVD, Piercing the Fog. There are some copies of Piercing the Fog in the back, and I already told you guys about today's special, that's today only. What I have back there today that will help you today to survive the fall of Rome is, I have, and I really didn't even want to get in this, my baby was like, you need to tell them so they'll know what you're doing. But I have a 2 audio cassette set called Energy. It tells you what energy is, how energy moves, and how the things you think move the energy around you, and how you can start to control energy and take things from an invisible thought and make them become a physical reality. So that is back there. It's on 2 audio cassettes. It's only $10. Communication will help you to learn how to communicate better with others. When you're talking to people that you seem to never be able to make a connection with, when you understand the keys to communicating, whether you're visual, auditory, or kinesthetic, and the person you're conferring with is visual, auditory, or kinesthetic, that will help you to always be able to get through to people and not be bumping heads with people so often. That will help you with your survival. Opening spirituality is probably one of the better things I have back there. Basically, that is a compilation of all of the things that had to do with closing out personal power and moving into spiritual power, which is where you guys are going to have to start going in order to survive this fall. Your primary key here is going to be to find out what you should be doing for and about yourself. And you are going to find those answers inside yourself. The Ancestors gave me other things that you need to do individually, as a collective, as a people, as an empire, but they want you to know that you are going to master the fall when you master you. Okay? Astral Emissions is also a very good book, a lecture that I did. It's a 3-disc CD set, and that is for people that want to learn how to astral project, where you do it deliberately and intentionally. You do it all the time anyway. You just do it when you're sleeping and you don't know you're gone and you don't know you're doing it. But if you want to get where you deliberately do it and you're going out there and you're coming back and you're conscious about the whole thing, that particular set tells you how to do that. There's some other stuff back there, but the PowerPoint is also very good. Those are the things that will help you the most to survive this fall of Rome. Now, what I want you to also know about this thing called Rome is the fasces, as I was telling you, is a symbol. Whenever George Bush or whoever the president at the time may be is speaking or addressing the nation, they always have the fasces right beside or behind the president. You will not see him doing a State of the Union address and the fasces are not there. Whenever you see the fasces, that is always a symbol or an ancient emblem of the legal authority of the Holy Roman Empire. Okay? So that is another key for you to know that you're dealing with Rome. But how many of you have heard that America is the great experiment? Has anybody ever heard that America is supposed to be an experiment?
Yeah.
Does anybody have a clue what that's about? Or you just heard that and don't know what that means? America is the very first Febronian nation. What we live in is what they call Febronian, F-E-B-R-O-N-I-A-N, America. That is the great experiment. Now, what America is a Bellarminian Commonwealth. Now, to me, Bellarminian and I could be wrong. I haven't really gotten an opportunity to look this word up yet, or break it down, should I say. That's an N. B-E-L-L-A-R. Can you see this?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
B-E-L-L-A-R.
B-E-L-L-A-R-M-I-N-I-A-N. When I look at Bellarminian, I see Bella, and I could be wrong, which means war and belligerence. This is what I see, and I'm running out of space here to write this. I see army, and I see minions. That's what I see when I look at Bellarminian. I see a warring army of minions. You know, but I could be, again, I haven't broken it down. When I just first look at the word BAM, that's what my eyes pick up. And that is really what the corporation called the United States of America is. A warring army of minions that goes around the earth just raging war against anybody and everybody that has anything they want to take, and they take what they want and leave the spoils, if they leave any spoils at all. But what it is, the concept of a Fabronian America is, it involves the decentralizing of the Roman Catholic Church into independent, secular, national churches called states. And those states are ruled directly by kings and princes. You notice you don't hear queens and empresses, you don't hear females, but by kings and princes united under the Pope and paying tribute to Rome, or the Roman Catholic Church, Vatican. That's what a Fabronian America is. This is the very first Fabronia. That's what the experiment was about. Now this is the correct political term for it. America is the first Fabronian, Bellarminian, Democratic, Republican church state. That's what it is. We're the first. Okay? Now, this particular church, as I said, they're paying all this tribute to the Holy Roman Empire, or the Roman Catholic Church, or Roman Catholic Vatican. And a lot of people need to come to the understanding or the knowledge that the Rothschilds, which are guardians of the Vatican treasury. Now, a lot of people, remember how I was telling you guys last year, for those individuals that made it last year, that the Jews and the Christians are really the same game, but everybody thinks that they're opposing one another. And I said, if you don't comprehend that they're the same game, then why was it they originally were called Judeo-Christian? And why is it that the Pope of Rome wears a yarmulke like any other Jew? You know, the little skull cap. I mean, to me, there are things that you may not understand, but a lot of it is just in your face if you're looking. So, Rothschilds means red shields. That's H-I-E-L-D-S. I know you guys can't make that out, because I'm up here up on it and I can't make it out. Anyway, back in the day, when Rome when Caesar's soldiers would go to war, they would go out into battle and they would have red shields that were painted with red. So that's where the red shield concept comes from. Now, the Vatican treasury holds all of the imperial wealth of Rome that they have stolen from melanated people all over the planet. And the Rothschilds family are the guardians of that. And they're supposed to be Orthodox Jews that are guarding the treasury for Roman Catholic so-called Christians. To me, there's something to be investigated there, and something that you guys would probably want to get a little bit more clarity on. I want to get into another concept that you want to know about these Templars before I get into the concept of giving you your the things that the ancestors want you to start doing to save yourselves from this fall. What I'm doing now is connecting today to yesterday. They did a trading places with us, and I'm going to show you that so that you see how that was done. This is what the Templars were really all about. The Templars, who were supposed to be Jesus priests, they believed that Jesus would never, if he were in fact God or God's son, would never lower himself to coming to earth in the form of a so-called human being. And if he really was God or the Son of God, he wouldn't have done that, and since he did do that, then he must therefore have been an imposter. And as an imposter, that made him a false prophet. So, if he's a false prophet, he's of no value. And as being someone of no value, then he deserved to be crucified anyway. Now, they felt that he was sent by the powers of so-called darkness, and nobody really should care what happened to him. So, in the Templars' opinion, the true God was not Jesus, but his evil twin brother, or evil brother, which may not have been a twin, I may be wrong on that part, whose name was Satanael, S-A-T-A-N-A-E-L. And this is who they believe in. Now, they feel that the word apparently he is supposed, Satanael is supposed to have lordship over the material world, and he alone can enrich mankind. Now, who's mankind?
No.
Did you say us?
No.
Them. He alone can enrich mankind, which really has nothing to do with man. Satanael is represented by the Kabbalan goat head, or you see this pentacle I have around my neck? When they turn it upside down, that's supposed to be symbolic of a goat head. But a lot of people used to wonder, well, why do Moors fly the Moorish flag, which is a green flag or a red flag with a green star in the middle, upside down? It looks like a satanic goat worshiping thing when you do it that way. The reason the Moors were flying the flag upside down is because our nation was in distress. Whenever a nation goes under attack and they are having severe calamity, they turn the flag upside down as a sign to others that we're in trouble and we need help. So when the Twin Towers, for example, were taken down in New York, if this nation was doing what it was supposed to do, and I don't know if they were or not because I don't watch the news, then the so-called United States of America flag should have been turned upside down because we went under what they claim was an attack. You understand? Okay. However, the way this particular nation of people, the Adamites or the Templars or the Jews or the Christians or whatever you guys want to call them, Europeans, white folks, call them what, pink people, I don't know. And don't think that I dislike pink people. My stepmother was pink. I have sisters and brothers that are pink, and I love them. I have one sister, she's blonde haired with greenish eyes, and she passes every day for white, and that works for her. Her son looks white, and he used to date a very dark sister, but now he married a white woman that had children and has white looking children with her. They're doing the wrong thing. One of the things that people want to know, we were discussing something yesterday at dinner last night, all of us, and Omari, and he was saying our people still haven't figured out that we need to apologize to Europeans for the way they were treated. And I was telling him, you kind of have to understand that our people did do an apology for the treatment. What our people did, according to the Ancestors, is they deliberately put themselves into a dormant, unconscious state. And as a result of that, it's like that story about the tortoise and the hare. You're the tortoise. You can always stay in front. But here comes the little hare. In order for the hare to get half a chance in this race, the tortoise had to go to sleep. So we deliberately went into this unconscious, we don't know, we don't remember squat state, so they could evolve spiritually and catch up. However, now one of the things that some of us did, and I think this is where a lot of the disagreements occurred, a lot of our people did not feel that we were supposed to crossbreed with them because they were, since we made them out of part animal, it was against the law to have intercourse with an animal. However, there were some people that felt like, but this animal has been genetically enhanced and modified to be very man-like. And in order for them to continue to become more man, we're going to have to crossbreed with them to breed more animal out, breed more melanin in, and breed their tails away. That, I think, is where a lot of the conflict between us came from. Has anybody ever heard how the Moors were fighting amongst themselves? Yes. That was something kind of to fight about. Yes. So, some people went on and did the interbreeding, but Europeans did not understand what we were trying to do for them. What we were trying to do for them was make up for the mistakes we made with them. Making them was a mistake. Enslaving them was a mistake. Treating them badly was a mistake. And the only way to make amends for that we could come up with was to go in a dormant state, in a sleep unconscious mode, and become like dead people so they could evolve spiritually, and for those that wanted to go there, to interbreed with them to darken them up. As they got more melanin and got darker, they were going to become more man and less a kind of man. Do you understand? As they got darker, they were going to get more soul, they would get more compassion, that would make them, as we were talking about yesterday, with some of the movies like the new version of The Time Machine and Queen of the Dam, to make them day walkers, for lack of a better word. You get them the melanin, that gets rid of the blue-eyed and the inability to see that well at night, or the inability to see that many colors, or because they have color blindness, they have night blindness. That's a blue-eyed problem. They don't hear this, like we hear certain things, they don't hear the beats that we hear because they need more melanin to pick up what we pick up. You feel more when you have more spinning superconductors. However, instead of them breeding in, as the Holy Bible talks about, I forget which version of which book, but one of the books talks about them needing to be grafted in. They were supposed to get grafted in. And early in the day, we were grafting them in, and then somebody in their camp decided, no, we're going to have miscegenation laws. It's against the law to interbreed and crossbreed, and I guess some people on our side made that same decision. But the fact remains, there were those that were breeding with them and those that were not. Those that wanted to go into the unconscious state and those that didn't. So we didn't agree on how to handle it. But at any rate, they did not, most of them did not take the time to evolve spiritually. And a lot of them refused to breed in and be grafted in. We got to keep the white race pure, is what they say. At the end of the day, we knew they only had a certain amount of time to do that. And again, they did not understand what we were trying to do for them. Now, those of you that saw, what is the name of the movie? Rabbit-Proof Fences, they spun it around and said, we didn't understand what they were trying to do for us. We didn't need them to do anything for us. We were trying to help them out. If, in fact, they had worked on evolving spiritually, like a lot of the so-called New Agers, they may be able to make the transition into the amplified frequencies, because the world is getting ready to transition into a higher frequency. Anybody that's not ready to shift up into the higher frequency is not going to make it. You're going to be trapped for I don't know how long, maybe forever. Now also, those individuals that did not graft in, because they could spiritually evolve or graft in to evolve, they had two options. They refused to graft in, so now they're left out. And now they want to make a mad dash on the sisters, and the European men want to hook up with the sisters. It's too late. You need a few generations to breed and graft in. You need to hook up with a melanated individual and have a melanated half-breed child, and your child needs to hook up with a melanated individual to make an even darker child, and keep darkening up until you get grafted in. They refuse, they're stuck, they're lost. They told me to let you guys know that we are not supposed to worry anymore about them or what they're doing. Who cares what they're doing? But oh, George Bush got rid of the habeas corpus. But oh, they have the concentration camps. The ancestors said, so what? Who cares what they have? We are not supposed to go out and march any more marches for them. We are not supposed to go out and join any more wars and militaries and fight any more battles for them, because we helped them fight every battle that they've ever fought, and they only fought the battles the way they fought them and halfway won them because we helped. We helped them in their revolution, their fight against Britain and France. We helped them in the Civil War, which they said was about us. It wasn't about us. It had nothing to do with us. They just said that so we could help, and when we helped to fight war for liberty, we still didn't get any. We helped them in the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Japanese War, the Afghanistani War, the Iraqi War, and we keep helping them fight wars that have nothing to do with us. We are at a point now where the ancestor said, try to not allow any more of our children to go fight the battles for Europeans, because those battles are not our battles. We have our own battle. We were fighting for them for liberty overseas, and we didn't have any at home. Our brothers were in militaries that were still calling them niggers, still sitting them in the back of the bus, and when they came out here, they still had to sit separately in trains. A lot of these brothers were in the soldiers, and they were still treated segregatedly and not given any respect, and all they were trying to do was help. And all along, we were trying to work with them, and they kept treating us like we were the enemy. We were not the enemy. Do you understand?
Sure.
Okay, so they wanted me to, and as I'm speaking, they'll drop on me what I'm supposed to be dropping on you. But what are you guys handing out? Oh, this that they're handing out now is a spiritual security method. Let me just get it here. It's 3 pages that I did, and it would go very well with the energy CD. It's not required to get it, but when you get an opportunity, I've given you guys some things that are going to help build you up spiritually, to help you amplify your frequencies for the amplification that is occurring on Earth. It's certain sounds that you do that you already know, that you're already familiar with. Like, who has never heard the sound, ah? That's a sound that does something when you say it, okay? When you utter the sound, ah, that sound is a universal sound for energy. If you're ever very tired and very fatigued, then you just go, you can amplify your energy and get rid of fatigue, okay? So you need to understand what the different sounds are about. And what else is on here? Now the next 2 pages are gonna scare the heck out of some people. That's why I gave several methods on it. There are several ways to protect yourself, and I've had people always say, well man, this looks like witchcraft. I don't want to do that. Fine. There are at least 10 to 15 different things that you can do to protect yourself. You don't have to jump on one that looks like witchcraft to you. Like somebody said, I don't want to take a glass jar and piss in it and put pins and knives and razor blades and sharps in there and bury it under. Fine. Then you run a bath water, pick some white roses and throw white rose petals in the water. Can you do that? That is a protection device. How many people have ever taken bath in Epsom salt? That is a protection device. You know, most of you do it to alleviate pain, but the crystals emit a frequency. Then what they do is they modify or change the frequency that's going on with you. They draw out frequency that's not supposed to be there so you can become more of what you're supposed to be, And that's what takes the pain away. When you're in pain, it's because there's something going on with your frequency that's not supposed to be going with your frequency. And frequently it occurs with something you're thinking or something you're saying that causes how you're feeling. Do you understand? Okay. So, I mean, some of these things, you can do, and some of them you don't have to do. On page 2, the very top thing is breathing. Can you do that? Okay. I mean, because some people, when they look at it, because the first thing is the witch's protective talisman, they just toss the whole page. It's like, come on, man, look at it. I'm sure of all the things listed here, you can find at least one thing on here that you would not have a problem with, no matter what your religious affiliation may be. Okay? Now, that's to help you out. Again, anything you get from me, take what you can use from me and discard the rest, because I don't know everything, and I may be wrong about anything. It's like, well, the sister's got good information, but she was wrong on that part. That part, throw it out. Don't use anything that you feel I'm wrong about. You comprehend? Does anybody have questions before I move on about what you were just handed out? Okay. I don't want y'all talking about me behind my back, though, man. Did you see what the sister gave us? I don't want to even read on there on the camera what's on there. I know some people are like, well, God, can you share with the audience that's watching that didn't get what you gave? I can't do it. Because there's stuff on there that I wouldn't put on DVD. I just wouldn't do it. If we have time at the end, I'll try to read over some of the sounds, but I don't know if we're going to have time. Back to what I was saying about Satanael and what's going on with them. Baphomet is the goat or the pentacle upside down. And Suzar has a fabulous book out called, I think it's called Baphomet Christ.
Yeah, Baphomet Christ.
You have it?
Yeah, it's a cold book.
Yeah, those of you that, want to know about this Satanael emblem, the pentacle turned upside, because what is everything going on? Everything about us is reversed. So if the pentacle is upside down the way they're ruling the world, how should it be for you as a melanated person? Right side up. Okay? Now, and the pentacle or pentagram or five-pointed star is a very powerful piece. It's a very powerful piece. It's also symbolic of raising the 4 levels of energy, earth, air, fire, water, and raising those up from the 4 points up through the top point where you start to evolve spiritually, because you have to come from down up and go from here.
Fifth element.
Huh?
Fifth element.
Yeah, the 5th element, exactly. Precisely. All right, now, the Baphomet, according to them, when some of them were cast out, because those of them that we were able to train, remember I said yesterday they were very unteachable people. We had a hard time teaching them to bathe. We had a hard time teaching them to speak, to just get them to do the language. It was very difficult. A lot of them still don't speak as well as they should. A lot of what they call Ebonics is really just Southern drawl from the way Europeans spoke English to us, and us trying to speak it back to them because it wasn't our language. Do you understand? Because we were speaking something else when they got here. Most of our people learned how to speak English from so-called Southern, so-called white folks. That's the way they spoke. So if the Ebonics is broken up, they broke it up. You got it? All right. But those of them that we were able to school up, we incorporated them into our societies to a certain extent. Those that we couldn't work with very well, we put them in areas that people call ghettos. And those that we could do absolutely nothing with were left on the other side of the Great Wall and pushed off in the caves. It's like, man, just put them back into the wild, because they're wild and we can't work with them. We couldn't civilize them. So some of them that were cast out, according to them, they say evil spirits appeared to them in the form of he-goats. This is what they say. And that the he-goats gave them secrets to controlling the world and to share with them anything that they wish to know. This is what the he-goats claim to be going to do for them. It also says that Has anybody heard of this Jewish holiday called Yom Kippur?
Yeah.
Do I need to write it?
Yeah.
Where's the marker?
No.
No? Well, somebody said yes, so that means yes. If any one person says yes, that means yes in here. Yomkippur. I've heard this a long time, and it just didn't add up until when you put it, like I said, when I put a question out, the ancestors go bam. I'll be looking for something else and find the answer to the question. The Yom Kippur is all about the trading places that they did with our people. This is a particular ritual where once a year they take 2 goats. Apparently one of them is what you know as white and one of them is what you know as black. They kill one of the goats and they take the blood from the goat they killed and sprinkle it onto the goat that is left alive. Okay, that'll work. And they send the goat off into the wild or the wilderness, which is symbolic of sending it into the world. The goat that is left alive is the scapegoat that escaped.
Yeah, I heard that.
And it is supposed to take and bear all the sins of the so-called Jewish people that you guys call white people. However, what it really is a magical ritual that they do every year so they can keep trading places with us. We run around here as their scapegoat. Now, I have a little list, and I hope I can get to it quickly, because I want to share with you guys some of the things that we have been running around bearing for these people. The ancestors wanted you guys to know this. I'm assuming that's why they gave it to me, so I could give it back. And if I can't find it, I'm going to have to shoot from memory, and I don't like shooting from, here it is, right here. The original black man is who? Them. Yeah. Who's the black man today? Yeah. So apparently they claim us. Yeah. The original Negro was them. Yeah. Somehow today the Negroes are us. The original colored people were them. Yeah. Meaning they have red eyes, green eyes, blue eyes, or whatever. Right. Blonde hair, black hair. We're not rainbow colored people. No. They look more like rainbow colored people. The original ghettos, who lived in the original ghettos? Who knows enough about history to know that? The so-called Jews. Now, today, who's supposed to be in these ghettos? Us. Who were the original Slavs? S-L-A-V. The slaves. Them. Now, who's carrying the slave story? Us. Who did that? They kept saying, oh, black people have the Mormons. Black people have tails. We have tails. Do we have tails? No. Have you ever seen anybody, other than brothers that have the ones in the front? I mean, how many people that you know that look like us that have tails? I've never encountered any melanated individual with a tail. I know people that have encountered European people that have tails. Some still in place, some that have been cut off. Right. Now, again, PBS ran a special called The Family That Walks on All Fours. And they showed the backs of 2 pink people, naked butts out, with the long tail still attached, hanging from the back. But they keep saying that we have tails. Now they keep calling us what? Monkeys and apes. What did we make them from? Monkeys and apes. Now they are the lovers of dogs. I told you guys yesterday about how much, and you guys know how much they love dogs. Man, they dogs can be up on the table. They can be eating dogs, licking them in the face. They trying to eat, but they like, okay, dogs. And my brothers today are calling themselves one another what? Dogs.
Calling each other dogs.
Okay? Who are they're some of the best and coldest killers you ever saw, but they keep calling my brothers the killers. They keep calling us the thieves when they've stolen entire continents, entire countries, and entire tribes of people, but we're thieves. Who's the thief then? They are. The original thugs and gangs. What did I tell you yesterday about how they were running to get away from their situations? They ran into other people's villages and communities and they came with a gang mentality. like they showed in Gangs of New York. But who are they calling gangs today? My brothers. So, we're called the criminals, the dealers, but the last time I checked, it's the Europeans that have the planes and the boats and the friends that are customs officials that they can look the other way or pay them off. Do you know any young brother in the hood that got it like that they can pay off a customs official and get any massive amount of drugs here? No. You know any brothers that got customs officials that are friends that'll look the other way? And the average brother can only look so far because somebody white is looking over his shoulder, or so-called white. Is that correct? How many brothers you know that got the boats and planes flying anything here from anywhere? So the drugs, the coke, the weed, is all getting here from somewhere. And it finds its way to our community, but we're not bringing it there, and yet it's there. So, if all of these things are the crimes and sins of them, then in order for everything to be applied to us now, and we accept it, and we claim it, somebody has done what they always tell you not to do. They performed a magical ritual under Yom Kippur with these goats, and they got a scapegoat, and that's symbolic of what they're trying to portray in the real world. And did it work? Yes. Very well. So you guys I just wanted to point, how many people saw it that way before?
Always.
You always saw it that way? He's good. He's good. I didn't catch it. It took a minute for me to figure that part out. Let me make sure I'm covering this here. Yeah, but the Augusters wanted to know that was the trading places thing that we did, because our people even call themselves Adam. Are we Adam? Are we from Adam? Do we have anything to do with Adam? We are not Adam or Adamites at all. Again, the trading places game from the robbers, the plunderers, the hypocrites that are the common sort, and we bought it and fell for it, hook, line, and sinker.
They did a movie called Trading Places.
Oh, they do a lot of movies about what's going on, but our people, because we aren't clear, we see it and we don't. You know how you see and you don't see, and you hear but you didn't hear it. I've heard of Yom Kippur for years, and the two goats for years, but I just figured this out a couple of weeks ago. And the Augusta said, duh, wake up. Now that you get it, tell everybody else. Because once you get it, it's like, once you know, the game is like over. It's it, that's it. That's a part of the frequency changing and our people evolving. As you get clear and the fog moves away so you can see, now you can see so you know where you're going. And you can get there when you can see where you're going. Otherwise, we're going to be running around in circles, revolving. We are not here to revolve. We are here to evolve and spiral up, not run around in circles, which is what we've been doing, and this is why. As the brother was saying yesterday, Brother Zakar, he was talking about cycle or psych, the word psych meaning soul. What is another word for Mercury? Psychopompus. Do I need to write this down?
Yeah.
Can I erase this? Is it possible to get some soap and water, or did you guys already try that with this board?
We're trying now.
Because I want to make sure that this can be legibly seen on the camera. Psycho is one word, but I'm writing it big because the board is so gray looking. If I write it any smaller, I don't think you'll be able to see it. Psychopompus is one word. Unless I turn. The word hell means anything Greek. It also means, and if you look in a dictionary, and those of you that have dictionaries that have never looked up the word hell, you should. It also means that anything that is not easily comprehensible, anything that's coded, that requires decoding, that's hard to understand. What are the laws and the codes that we're dealing with? They're hell. Most of what's going on is so complicated. All a lot of people are trying to do is get free, and they can't get free because they're having such a hard time figuring out what this game is. Because it's not easy to comprehend. But as one of my sisters said, Yaffa, they're Ma'at. Y'all have heard me talk about her. Ma'at's thing is, look, they're chimps. How hard could it be? We're melanated. The problem we're having is we're thinking too hard. That's her speech. She'll tell you quick. We're more, so we do more and think more and figure there's more to it.
And it's not.
And her thing is they are chimps. There couldn't possibly be that much to it. It's probably so simple, we're missing it because we're just looking too far, and we're looking out there and it's right here. You get it?
Right.
So, what this is supposed to do, as those that are not appropriate, which is what you guys are all in the process of becoming. Appropriate means one's own. You're going to evolve to your own thing, your own thought, your own frequency, marching to your own drummer, following your own heart and gut, and feeling your own way. You do not need leaders. You are a leader. If anybody's going to follow anybody, they need to follow you, because you're not going to follow anybody. That's not what you're here for. Your ancestors didn't go through what they went through for us to be trying to find some savior for us. We don't need a savior. You save yourself. However, those individuals that follow, thank you, sweetheart. Now that is so much better. That is so much better, Dave. I appreciate that. That'll be helpful for those that are looking on the video cam. Those individuals that continue to follow Mercury, or Europeans and their way, or the Roman Catholic Church and the Vatican and the Febronians of America, because what is America supposed to be? The light of the world. Everybody's supposed to follow this country, and this country is what I would consider Satan's hellhole. Some of the most obscene, unnatural things occur in this country. Isn't this, well, who said that? Say that again. Great Satan.
The great Satan.
America is like the great Satan. This is like, and anybody that wants to follow the way things are done here is going the wrong way.
That's right.
However, the individuals that keep following Mercury are going to wind up stuck in hell with Mercury, because Mercury don't want to be there alone. They need melanated folks to go with, huh?
Misery loves company.
She said, the sister said, misery loves company. That's true. The individuals, however, that are left behind, how many times have you heard that? Those are going to get left behind. Those are going to be left behind. Those that get left behind that are not following Mercury, those are the people that are worth messing with. That's going to be you guys, because you're clear enough now, I hope, to see the game that we were all so stuck in. And it's a bigger game than we thought, but it's not as big as we thought, because everybody that I talked to, I know all of you, now that I'm bringing this all stuff to your attention, yesterday, today, last year, didn't you already know it?
Right.
You just didn't see it that way.
Right.
And now that you see it, it's like, how come I didn't catch that before? Why didn't I look in the dictionary before? And I've seen these brackets, but I didn't see the brackets. You've seen them, but you didn't see them, right?
Right.
Tell the truth.
Right.
You seen it, but you ain't paying attention.
Pay no attention. Yeah.
Right. But so the game is there. So now the jig is up for them when it comes to you guys. So hopefully you can get your people to catch up, but if they ain't catching up, the ancestors got a plan that they want you to do. What they want you to know is your answers, again, are inside yourself. They are not in the church.
That's right.
And if you keep following the church, and who's the church? The whole body, Rome, and the whole body of what? Christian believers that are ruled over by who? The Pope.
Oh.
And the Roman Catholic military soldiers that are preachers, priests, nuns, bishops, and the like.
Jesuits.
The Jesuits are the severe army.
Yeah.
But
Military arm, man.
now these people had a tendency to go around the world in the name of what? They come along in the name of peace
Jesus Christ.
as missionaries. Oh, we come in peace. There was a science fiction movie once called Come in Peace or something like that.
No, there's a better movie called The Missionary with Robert De Niro. He was younger in it. That's an excellent picture.
There's a better movie called The
The
Missionary.
And they came in peace. The missionary came first and the mercenaries came second. That's right.
Well, that's exactly what really happened all over the planet. And then the hell and the confusion occurred.
Right.
So now we just got to get clear and get out of the confusion. We're not going to keep following this critter into hell anymore. Something else the ancestors wanted me to bring to your attention that some people are getting angry about. Back in the, I think in the 80s or 90s, how many people are familiar with the fact that the Seminole Indians in Oklahoma had decided one day, I didn't even see you slide in back there, honey. How you doing? They had decided one day that the so-called black Negro type Indian ain't a real Indian because they had all this money from the so-called federal government. Now, a couple of weeks ago, there was an article in the paper that basically said that the so-called Cherokee of Oklahoma is trying to play the same game. These black Indians of Negro ancestry aren't real Indians, therefore they're not entitled to the rights or monies of real Indians, so we're going to remove them from the rolls. How many people have heard that? Yes. And a lot of people got what about it? Because you know that you're what they call the so-called Indians, you know that was your people.
That's right.
A lot of our people got P.O.'d. The ancestors said, don't. Forget them, screw that and what they're talking about. This is what they wanted me to bring to your attention. One, slap them upside the head with their own garbage. When they say the black Indians aren't real Indians, you need to whip out their dictionary and go, I think black says pale. Look at you. And here's a definition of American that says copper-colored races. You get your copper penny out, let me get my copper penny out. You tell me, am I the black Indian or are you the black Indian? This is what the ancestors told me to tell you.
Come on.
And when they talk about the Indians of Negro ancestry from Africa, isn't that what they're saying? The ancestors told me to tell you this for them. The Europeans are currently doing all this DNA and genetic testing and tracing. Let them tell it, everybody's traced back to Africa through Lucy. So if I ain't a real Indian because I'm traced to Africa, you ain't a real Indian because you traced there too. That's right. The ancestors told me to tell you guys, don't get bent about it because they ain't talking about nothing. They're just doing that to upset you and throw your frequency off. Because when you get a little angry, your frequency gets a little distorted and your thoughts get a little scattered. They said, don't listen to the pink man and what he's talking about. Don't follow him and what he's doing. Just stay on your focus. Stay in your 360 degrees because you have to be an unmoved mover, which means you cannot be moved by him and his games and his garbage. Do you comprehend?
Oh, yes.
All right. Now, there's something else that they wanted you guys to know. There's a legal term called aboriginal title and a legal term called Indian trust. They said you don't want to get hung up in that too deep because both of those keep you off and out of your stuff. And the so-called, they wanted me to also bring to your attention that the so-called, what is it called? The, oh hell, it'll come back to me. They just snatched it right out of my head. I guess I said only what they wanted me to say on that. It'll come. If they want me to give it to you, it'll come. Somebody will ask a question about it or something. Indigenous. Yeah. They said, don't mess with that word. They said you only want to mess with it if you need to use it legally for legal purposes because you may be able to get whatever you're needing to get from them legally, but you're not indigenous. This is what they told me to tell you about it. I'm going to write the word here.
Indian. I-N-D-I-G-E-N-O-U-S. Turn to indigenous in your dictionary now.
I looked up that term last time when you told us to look up
Autochton.
Autochton, yeah, and indigenous came up.
Yeah, well, they're trying to connect back. It is and it isn't, okay? Just like if your name could be Michael. If your name is Michael and somebody calls you Mike, you know they're talking to you, but is Mike your name? No. No. So, just be clear on that. Now, I want you to look, remember I told you when you're looking up a word, you should look up every word above and below the word. When you get into the brackets of indigenous, you'll see Indi plus Gina.
Right.
And indigen with the A in the parentheses. And it'll also, is that right? Indi plus Gina. But look at the word above it that says indigene.
Right.
Indigene. That says indigenous or native. Also indigen. And look in the brackets. It says indigen. No, that's not even it. Indigen. Without, where, yeah, that's right, that's right. When you look up indigen, because that's what it says in the brackets, right? Or somewhere in there to say, yes, baby. Loud enough to be on this mic, handsome, because we want to hear what you got to say always.
You put in front of a word in the English language, it really means out.
I know.
That it's not of. So indigenous, it means not of the gen race.
Thank you, brother. See? I'm going to give him some more to go with that. When you look at, now look at the word indigent. I-N-D-I-G-E-N-T.
T, yes. Experiencing want or need.
Deficient, needy, destitute.
Wow.
And when you get in the brackets, doesn't it say indigens, which is this word with an S? Indigens, which is the root of this word. Indigenous, indigens, indigene, indigenous, indigent is all the same word, and it means needy.
Wow.
And when you get down into the word, look down below that to the word indine. I-N-D-I-G-N.
Not worthy.
It means you're not worthy.
Onward.
And what do the Europeans go around this world taking everything from melanated people saying? You don't deserve it. You ain't worthy. We should have it. And they did that because they have, what do you call that? The green-eyed monster. And that Ain al-Hassad, the blue-eyed envy. Do they hate you?
Yes.
With a pad?
No. They're just jealous of you.
Yeah.
They want what you want, and they want to be what you are, and they want to have what you have, but they're not you. And they're upset because they're not you. They're very angry about it. We gave them the opportunity to become us. They rejected it. And it says that in the Bible. It says something about they rejected the builder's cornerstone or something. The cornerstone of the foundation.
Come on.
They rejected it. So they can't say that we didn't try to help them. Because some people are like, well, we owe them an apology and we still haven't learned our lesson. They don't understand what we were doing for them, and a lot of us didn't understand what we were doing for them. Now do you guys kind of see what we tried to do and how we tried to make up for the error of our way? You don't see it still. It's okay if you don't. It's okay. It'll come.
I see it.
Now, there's a good book I want to share with you guys, and when you get an opportunity, if you want to get, now the Aunt Esther said to me to tell you, stop reading. They told me enough reading already. We're doing too much reading and too much talking, not enough action. But I know a lot of people still need to see their own evidence. This is a book called The Dictionary of Ecclesiastical Latin. It's by Leo F. Stelton, and his name is spelled S-T-E-L-T-E-N. This book breaks down a lot of the Latin verbiage, especially where it's connected to the Vatican and the Church. The Dictionary of Ecclesiastical Latin. There are different forms of Latin. This is Church Latin. Leo, middle initial F like Frank, last name Stelton, S-T-E-L-T-E-N. I broke down a lot of Latin verbiage and a lot of information about the Vatican. And if you don't think that the Vatican is controlling things, when you get into the back of this book and start seeing how this thing goes, with your insight now and your decoding capabilities now, you will definitely be able to figure it out if you still can't figure it out with me giving it to you. Okay? Let me see now, there was something else that they,
Definition for family.
and none of them say what I just said.
Not initially, I don't see no brackets either.
That's a legal,
We're in the regular English dictionary.
it's a legal term.
Family, that's legal court verbiage. That's why I said, they said you can use what you need to use to get what you need to get, but be clear on what you really are. Just like if you're trying to get a loan and they ask you, are you a U.S. citizen? Citizen is a servant.
Same thing.
That's the problem. You know, until, I don't know what to do yet. Until we figure out, you can either do like Valor says and scratch no and write something else and hope they don't have an issue with it, or you can check yes. And just know that, well, it ain't me, but I don't have no other option. I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? So what you're looking at is legal terms. Maybe someone should show him a regular dictionary, because like he said, if he looked and the way he worded it is, I don't see nothing about what you just said. That's kind of like, sis, you ain't telling the truth, because this book don't say that. So somebody show him a real dictionary so he can see that I'm not saying that. Am I saying that family means slave or servant? Who says it? Where does it say that? In the dictionary. We got Merriam-Webster's right here, Random House,
Got one pastor.
Houghton Mifflin, Oxford, Thorndike. Do all your dictionaries say that the word family in the brackets means servants? So who, am I saying it?
No, Random House.
Huh?
The book is.
The book says it. Now it could be wrong, but hey, this is their stuff. We're gonna, what did I say the ancestors said do? Slap them upside the head with their stuff. Okay? Because they've been slapping you upside your head with their stuff. Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
When you go to the dictionary and you're looking up the definition of a word, you should go to what's in the brackets first.
I go to the brackets first, and then I read everything else.
Okay, what's the difference? I mean,
The-
why is that definition in brackets and then the rest of it? What's the difference?
What's in the brackets shows the origins and tracing of a word and what the word meant when it first started, versus what they say it means now to keep the Vatican in more control. Does anybody? Yes, sir. Okay. Got some more that you want to add? Because I look at you sometimes and tell me you want to say something. You can't wait till it's over because we got to stop.
No, opening. I gotta go with
When I look at you, that's your opening. Because you know, we want to hear what you got to say. I love Brother Zakar. Y'all need to get this brother to do a lecture, honestly.
You were speaking earlier about our DNA.
Our DNA.
Right. And what we're not understanding is, see, someone else has rewritten the script.
Yes.
So, and it says in the Bible that the serpent tribe is now sitting in the sea. They are the lost.
Right.
The serpent tribe is the tribe of Dan, D-A-N. So if I'm gonna mimic you, and I'm gonna put everything coded, and you're gonna trace your genes, and you're gonna call it DNA, but that's me. Yours is our transportation system. It's called the CTA.
Okay, he's saying that DNA applies to the rulers of the world now, and for us, we shouldn't call it DNA, we should call it CTA, which goes back to the cat,
And what is a cat? It's your soul. He's a people's soul. He's a soul chick.
Okay, now that's important.
And then, one more thing. Yesterday you was talking about this,
Quivira,
and you said the translation of quivir was Wichita.
Wichita villages, in Wichita villages, something, I don't even remember.
Right, which is Washita.
Right, Wichita, Washita, the wits,
Washita called
the witches, the wits,
the Washita nation.
which means to know.
Not tribe, the nation called themselves the Kitty Kittish.
The kitty kiddish.
Wow.
Woo-hoo.
When the Jesuits came over here, like you was explaining before, about them sending the armies over first, they come over the Christian ass folks.
Mhm.
When the Jesuits came over, they called these people the Cat Nation.
The cat nation.
Cat
That's
nation.
what they were called. The Cat
He
Nation.
said when the Jesuits first came over here, we called ourselves, or the Wichita Nation, which really was all of us, but called ourselves the kiddish,
Kitty Kittish.
the kitty kish. And the Jesuits came over here calling us the cat race, or cat people, the cat nation.
And it just happened, you go up on the internet and and you look up the etymology of cat, or Egyptology. It's going to tell you that the cat is influential in Christianity and what you call Mohammedanism. The word Muhammad breaks down to
That's
the
the cat.
doorway to the black cat, and a Christian breaks down to the cat. And both of them giving a homage to this Christ, which is cat, and Muhammad, which is the cat.
Well, the Christ is not the cat. The Kara essence is the cat.
The
Or the K-Ra.
C-H-R-I-S-T is cat. It's the head cat. The R-I means head, the C-T means cat.
Okay, okay.
Question for the brother.
Huh?
Question for the brother.
Go ahead. Loud.
Is that what the Cherokee were originally called? Dey-Twah?
All of them had C-T without their name, without throughout their name.
CT, KT, or something to that effect. All right. Now, how many of you guys have a mate and you're here with your mate? I'm not even going to make you look it up, but when you get a chance, you should look it up. The word mate means meat, meal, or food. That's the word mate, M-A-T-E. Now you know what you have? You know what you have? And this goes back to even what the brother is saying. This is what your people are, and these may or may not, and this is going to get back to what you and I were discussing earlier, Carl. This is going back to what he said. The first letter is C, last letter is T. Cat. You have a consort. Turn to the dictionary, in regular dictionary, look up the word consort. You don't have mates and wives and husbands. You don't have boys and girls either, because the word boy means a knave, a servant, and it also means dishonest. When you get a chance, look it up. That's the word boy. And they kept calling our brothers boys even until they got to be old enough to be their great-granddaddies. And the word girl means young person. So for now, we'll just say we have progeny until we come up with something better. You know, which is toward and for the genes. Gens, yes.
Just like on the bathroom doors. When you go to the bathroom and it says boy and girl, it says guys and gals. The gal is a cat and the guy is a fae. The guy is a man portrayed to be a woman. The gal is a cat.
Whoa. Okay. Guys are cats and gals are fae? No, gals are cats and the guys are...
A guy is a male homosexual. A gal is a cat.
Okay. Golly. The word consort means in accord with. Ships accompanying one another. To unify. To accompany the spouse of a royal person. Like that's my consort sitting at the table back there. I don't have no mate. Okay? Or a housebound man servant. Husband. All I'm saying is the ancestors want you guys to be clear on what you are using to address yourself as. And your people that you have much compassion for. That you want to be in accord with. Okay? All right. Does everybody see that? All right. I mean, there's a lot going on here, but I'm not going to go through every little detail because we got a short day. All right. These are some of the things that they want me to tell you to do. And as they gave this stuff to me over the last months, I just wrote it all down. First of all, they want you to determine who's running this operation. And by that they mean, who is running your vessel? Your individual self. Are you running you? Or is your employer running you? Or are your children running you? Is your so-called mate, spouse, wife, husband, consort running you? Is the media running you? Who's ruling your vessel? You need to figure that out. And in order for you to figure that out, they suggested that you try and make an effort, which is going to be hard for some people. Some people have already done it. Make an attempt to go 1 week without watching any of their television, any movies, or listening to the radio at all. 1 week. And with that, not being in the house going, oh, it's boring, the rest I gotta get out of here. What's going on outside? They want you to be able to spend a week, not saying you gotta be in the house all day, every day, but don't go running out of the house just because it's too quiet in here. You need 1 week to try being in a silent space with just you and your consorts and your progeny, or and that's gonna be hard for folks that have children. And husbands that are like, wait a minute, baby, can we do that next week? Because the championships and the playoffs are coming up. You know what I'm saying? But they want you to try, because in that week of silence, you will get an opportunity to do a lot of thinking for yourself, which is not the same as being in prison. That's not a silence. Even though some people get thinking done in there, it's not that easy to get a lot of thinking done, because in prison you got to watch your back. And they also, speaking of prison, wanted me to mention this. For brothers that have been incarcerated and have become subjugated or violated as victims of men that are what you call stronger than them physically, or where they were ganged up on by several guys physically, or in some other way so-called punked into being somebody else's so-called punk, or whatever, they wanted those brothers to understand clearly that there is nothing wrong with you. And I don't know if that's anybody in the room or just somebody that may be watching the tape. There is nothing wrong with you. Comprehend that in that instance, you were a victim and you had to go into whatever was your survival mode. What they want you to comprehend is you are not, under any circumstances, to feel like a punk that was victimized. If you want to look at someone as a so-called punk, they said that you should look at, and all brothers that are incarcerated need to start looking differently at the brothers that are subjugating other brothers. Because to them, there is something wrong with the man that feels like, you know, I'm big, bad, whoever, but I'm a man. But you can yet and still get your erection up hard enough to violate another man and then consider that man a punk, when you're the one that had your heart up for him. You found something so attractive about him that you were able to keep it up and keep raping him and whoever. They said those brothers are the ones that had the problem. There was something wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with the brothers that became the victims of these brothers. There is no shame in being not strong enough physically to overcome somebody else that may have more muscle mass or more fighting skills or fighting experience than you. Do you understand that? Okay. Because there are a lot of brothers that are carrying a lot of, the orchestra said, a lot of shame about things that happened to them when they were coming up, when they were not the ones that were the problem. The brothers that victimized them, those are the punks. The guys that are running around forcing themselves on others in prisons, those are the biggest, I don't want to use the words fags, because they said if brothers that are into that, that's okay. But it needs to be a consenting situation. You understand? But the brother that forces himself on a smaller or weaker man, he is the punk in the scenario. You get that?
Right.
All right. And I know brothers are like, please change the subject. You know, brothers don't like discuss, especially any brother that's been there, they don't want to discuss it. They also want you to get into the barter and trade mentality. Too many of us are too reliant on the Federal Reserve note. It ain't money. And their thing is, they want to know what the heck happened to you guys. Their thing is, it's an embarrassment to them as the founders of mathematics and the inventors of all language and alphabet to have any of their progeny run around and say things like, well, I'm not that good at reading. I ain't that good at words. I'm not good at math. Their thing is, what do you mean you're not good at what your people invented? You are the masters of it. It's just dormant in you for now. All you need to do is reactivate your CTA, which other people call DNA, and bring your stuff forward. You are good at anything you as a melanated person does or do. Do you understand? They said we are the individuals that were spinning silk and weaving fabric and wearing clothes and building all kinds of fabulous things. Algebra is our stuff. Geometry is our stuff. Agriculture is our stuff. Basket weaving, pottery and bowl making, that's our stuff. What do you mean you don't know how to do anything and the white man won't give you a job? They said make your own damn job. What is wrong with you? And I'm not talking to any individuals specifically. I'm just telling you what they told me to tell you. Everything came from you, and you can do everything and you can do anything. Decide in your week of silence what you can do and what you're about, and start there. And even if you may be a master woods carver or a master artist that can't seem to sell your wares because your people don't want to buy it and your people can't afford it, so they say, then sell it to other people's people. Because a lot of Europeans spend a lot of money on stuff that comes from people that look like you.
Right.
So they said get back into the basket weaving, the bowl making, the moccasin making, because the shoe industry started with us. And the shoe lasting machine was invented by a brother. Why do we have to buy everything we have? When we were coming up, all of our children were taught things like how to sew, how to knit, how to crochet, how to make shoes, and now you don't know how to even survive without going to buy everything from pink people. You should be making your own shoes, making your own clothes. And for those of you that can't, there are those of us that can. They basically said, we do not need the European anymore. We really never did, but that was a part of the dormancy. They needed us. The word is, they told me there are plenty of brothers in America that have farms and can't get anybody to help them run these farms. And they are growing food to feed our people who are not buying the food from them. And then it's like, oh, well, we can't get it because there are no trucks. They said, bull. There are a lot of young brothers that have little trucking companies, 2, 3 trucks. They can do cross-country because they got the sleepers in the truck. They can go get the food and bring it back. They're tired of your excuses. There are no excuses. Everything we need, we have it. There are jewelers that make jewelry that our people are not buying. Fine, don't buy it, sell it to somebody else. We have people that know how to make shoes that we're not buying. They're usually in the shoe repair business, and a lot of us won't even take shoes to repair because we're too busy running the Payless buying a new $5 pair. Instead of keeping the other brother alive by spending $5 to get the ones you got fixed. Do you comprehend what they're asking me to tell you? Is there anybody that has a question about it before I move on to the next thing? Now, getting back into the consorts. Right now, we are in what appears to be a dire state. And Carl and I were discussing this in my consort back there, OJ. We were discussing this. One of the things that they want our people to understand is this. The cognizant community is a very small group of people. And that does not mean that everyone else is not coming along. But we are what they call the first wave. It is our responsibility as the first wave to do the job of laying the foundation for those that are not trying to hear you right now.
Right.
Which I brought up yesterday. There are a lot of people that it's like, come on, mama, you want to come to this sister's here, she's talking about some stuff, we need to go. It's like, no, I'm going to church. Or your children don't want to hear it. You got people that you want to bring that ain't coming. Leave them behind. They're following who? Psychopapas.
Mercury.
They're on their way to hell. And if you keep trying to bring them, you're going to get, it's like crabs in the barrel. Either they're gonna drag you back into the barrel or you're gonna get out the barrel and keep going, and when they finally get out, everything is already in place and they can just come. Do you understand? Lay the foundation. But these individuals that are your so-called consorts that are not ready, in the cognizant community, or what other people call conscious, but to me that's not the appropriate word, because conscious just means you're awake and your eyes are open. There are people out on the corner, you know, that are awake and their eyes are open, but if you try to start talking about anything, they don't understand what you're saying because they're not cognizant. They are not asleep physically, means they're not knocked out on the bed. Looking at me is conscious. Understanding me is cognizance, or comprehending me is cognizance. This community is going to have to get into what a lot of our people don't want to get into, which the Ancestor said, why have you forgotten yourselves? When brothers back in the day had brothers, and their brother would transition over, frequently the brother would take into his fold the wife of his brother, so that the children would have a male role model to follow and look up to. It does not always mean that he was having sex with his brother's wife. In some instances that was the case, and many times it was not the case. And also they want you to know that when it comes to, I touched on it yesterday, how you sisters do not own your man's vessel and your man does not own yours. What people have to understand is the individual that is inside the skin is the only individual that knows what that individual needs and requires on this journey of evolution to become a whole and completely fulfilled being. Oftentimes, you have a guy that has a sister that's his consort, or vice versa, and this guy, he loves his sister, for lack of better words, but she's not the best cook in town. So here's a sister over here, he likes to go over here to eat. Because man, this sister, she gets down in the kitchen, and that's where the food is. But when he tries to talk to either one of them, they're almost airheaded and there's no conversation. So then you have a brother that needs to go find another sister that they can sit up all night just talking, just shooting it back and forth. It does not mean the brother is having sex with all of these individuals, but each individual is multifaceted and has several components to them that needs to be nourished in order for them to continue to grow and thrive. If your man has more stimulating conversation with us, she may not be sexually appealing to him at all, but mentally she is off the chain in his mind. Then there are sisters that, man, they can bang out sex all night and day, but when they get out of bed, there is nothing to talk about with this sister because there's just nothing there. Do you understand? So, just because a brother has a sister over here he likes to eat with, and vice versa for sisters, and a sister over here that he has sex with, and a sister over here, because you might have a sister that she can do lots of things, but you might want to go out dancing. Your woman don't go out and dance. It's like, well, can I go out with my friend so-and-so? I want to go out and dance. Because she likes to dance. When we get through dancing, I'll come home. Too many sisters say things like this. I'm your woman. If you need to talk to somebody, you talk to me. He can't talk to you. You don't have enough there to talk about or discuss with. Do you understand? Now, they're not attempting to insult. They're just saying each individual has to fill themselves up with what they need, and they have to get what they need from wherever, and that no individual on this planet is going to be with you forever. Your mom, your dad, your children, your wife, your husband, you can pick every individual in your life. Not one of them has been or will be with you forever. The only individual that will be with you forever is who? Yourself. You're the only individual that knows what you yourself requires. You're the only individual that knows what you yourself is needing. Your parents and their judgments about what you do is not what you should focus on. You must focus on completing your journey and evolving as highly spiritually as you can on this journey to make yourself as complete as possible so you don't have to come back. Do you understand? Is your hand up, sweetheart? Come on with it, brother.
We're presently going through these vices. This book right here is called Astrology of Cosmic Science.
Astrology of Cosmic Science?
A Cosmic Science.
Oh, Astrology, a Cosmic Science. By who?
By Isabel M.
By Isabel M. Hickey. How are you spelling Hickey?
Hikey.
H-I-K-E-Y is the last name of the author. Come on.
We have entered the age of the Aquarius.
Right.
The Aquarian age is governed by Saturn, which is Satan,
Mm-hmm.
and Uranus, which is heaven. To show you Saturn's influence, whatever you like, he gives you in plenty of. If you like drugs, all the drugs you can get. Smoking, drinking, sex, whatever it is, I have to throw this out there for you, because you cannot come and enter my heaven. I have to clean and rid you of all your filth, so you won't enter when Uranus comes in and governs the Aquarian age, which is heaven. To show you that I am on point. Motor Trend's card of the year is what?
Saturn.
All day long. They feed each other back to you on a regular basis.
Thank you, sweetheart.
You are the cosmic science, but you won't connect back up to what's going on.
A lot of the reason why people are not connecting back up is because of psychopompous, Christianity, guilt trips, other people's judgments and opinions, and you are not allowed to be you.
Right.
And you're not allowed to live because everybody tells you what's right for you, best for you, what you should do. The television dictates, oh yeah, our brothers are this and they do drugs, they do, and you become what you're told you should be instead of getting a silent space and figuring out for yourself who you are and determining for yourself what you should be. Somebody might say, you know, girl, your skirt's too short. Your clothes are too tight. Nobody can tell you what's too short or too tight for you. Back in the day, a lot, depending on where in the world we were, because we had many cultures across the planet. Some areas, sisters ran around totally topless. Some areas, they ran around totally nude. And then you had the areas where a lot of people wore what they call the, for lack of better words, the Arabic harem type attire with the see-through type pants and the midriffs and the V things here. But that was because brothers, when we were ruling the world, had so much respect and honor for the sister and the form of a sister. It was an art, and it was like, wow, it's just great to look at. It was just art. But when the pink men started being incorporated into the communities, they didn't have the same respect because of the behavior. They were hard to teach. So they were pawing and grabbing and raping and things like that, and that caused the brothers to have to cover their women up to protect them from this creature. Not because they wanted her all covered up, but they had to cover her up for her protection. Now, in these Arabic countries, they've taken it like way too far. They're on some other thing now. But that was not the reason that they got all covered up. Do you understand? Okay. Let's see. Oh, they told me to tell you. Yes, sweetie, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to comment on you. You speaking on how the Arabs view women and covering. Okay, the book is called Reincarnation of the Zodiac.
Reincarnation of the Zodiac?
Reincarnation of the Zodiac.
That's a book title.
And what it does is explain. No. The one on it's called the Sauce of Salvation. Sorry.
The Sauce of Salvation?
S-A-L-T.
Oh, the S-A-L-T of Salvation. That's another book title.
George Washington Carey.
By George Washington Carey.
In Dixon, Illinois, in 1930. What he does, he explains to you each sign of the zodiac, the 12 signs, and the mineral that applies to the sign and where it applies in your body. Okay. Now you were speaking of why they cover the women. To them, the woman represents lust. And if I can see any body part on her, then it's going to make me lust after her, which is going to cause me to what? To lose my seed. If I lose my seed, I lose my life, and I lose my mind. Because a man's seed is equivalent to 3 pints of his blood, 1/10 of his brain cells.
But that is under the current dominion. Back in the day, brothers had so much control of themselves, their bodies, their minds, their spirit, and thought. They didn't just shoot off because some woman walked by them nude. It wasn't that kind of party. But the people are on a lower frequency now, but the frequencies are in the process of elevating, and you must evolve with them in order for you to get back to yourself. Because right now, you're out of place. Even though you're in your place. This is your place, but we're out of place in our, what do you call, you're lost at home, for lack of better words. All right. I already gave you guys what they said about disconnecting from the tube. Now, one of the things they suggest that you can also do when you figure out during that quiet week what you want to do with yourself, that you should create your own audio cassettes of programming and program your own mind with your own thoughts. And let those play in the background while you think or read or meditate and sleep. And the tape can be whatever it is that you want to be. You write it down, make sure the words are not the wrong words, and I don't mean decode every word in the dictionary. I mean, you don't want to say things like, well, I don't have enough money, so I need more money. What's wrong with that sentence? The don't have part. You can focus on things like, I need more financial strength. I require more wealth than this, or something along those lines. And you create the tape. You can use birds chirping in the background, rivers flowing, brooks babbling over the waters, or no sound at all. But you don't want to have the music with some rapper in the background rapping over your program, because he's got a program too. You understand? So you create your own audio cassettes with your own program, because your brain is or mind is a computer, a supercomputer. And if you do not program what goes into your computer, what happens? Somebody else will program it for you. And if they're Mercury and Psychopomp and the Roman Vatican Church, whatever their program is not a program for who? You. All right. They also suggested that we stop being monolingual. Our people were multilingual people. Has anybody ever seen, and somebody asked me today why I didn't bring this movie up yesterday. Have you ever seen the movie The 13th Warrior?
Yeah.
With Antonio Banderas. In that movie, who was he, what role was he playing? Who was his character? A Moor. When he went amongst now remember, he was sent off because some guy was jealous of him and the relationship or attraction between his wife and him. So he was sent off with these creatures, and you guys that saw the movie, you should have saw the parts that I was telling you about yesterday. When they had the water, then they were washing their hands in the water and blowing their noses in the water and gargling in the water and then passing it to the next person who went into the same water, and they passed it to the brother, and he was like, oh no, I'm good. Go ahead, I don't want. That was how we were when it came to them. It was like, oh, okay, no. But he didn't understand their language when he first got with them. Now, by the time they were sitting up one day and he just sat with them, how did he learn? Who taught him their language?
He taught himself.
He taught himself. He sat there, he listened, he watched them, and he figured out what they were talking about. And one day they started talking about him and his mom. And he's like, oh, you done lost it. Oh, okay, as the sister said, you done lost your rabbit mind. Then and only then did he have something to say to them. And they were like, you speak our language? He's like, yes. Well, who taught it to you? I taught myself. And my mother, unlike yours, and he said something about their mother was really insulting. But that's the way we were. We traveled all over the world. What were we? Navigators. We navigated everywhere and went to different cultures. That's why we were kind of like a big family, because we went everywhere. And we spoke all the different dialects when we got there. And if we didn't understand it, we just kind of listened and learned it. Learn some alternative languages. Just so for the record, I taught myself Hebrew and forgot it. I taught myself Spanish and thought I forgot it until I went to create cheat sheets for other people. And then I realized, man, I remember it. I'm currently teaching myself Japanese. And I have found that every language under the sun is easier to learn than English.
Yes.
Every other language, a vowel has one sound, boom. The A sounds like the O sounds like O, the E sounds like A, the I sounds like E, and that's most languages. English is, well, sometimes I except after C and instead of E, and and sometimes I, sometimes Y, and
Because they use it
because it's a spell, it's equivocal. But if you can speak English, you can speak anything. Anything. You can buy a bunch of little cassettes and programs off the internet. They have the book to go with and the cassette to go with, and you can teach yourself the language. It's not that hard. Because if we are in the process of rising up back into the place of the rulers of the world, how can you be an ambassador or an emissary for your people and you cannot even communicate with or speak the language of other people? You also need to learn an extended decimal place. The decimals go way beyond a billion. And you know that coming from the Yahweh group. Right now, the only melanated people that I can think of that can calculate well into the decimals are followers of Yahweh ben Yahweh. Because what is it he taught the people? If you are going to rule the world, you must be mentally prepared to count and calculate the world's money. You can't rule the world if you can't count beyond a billion. And how many people in this room can really get past the billion decimal place? Raise your hand. Beyond the billion. 3 people. And that's okay. Okay, somebody, how many can get beyond the trillion decimal place?
Quadrillion.
Nonillion, decillion, 109 man.
Sextillion.
Okay, it goes on and on. But see, most people sitting here like, what? What? Huh? What are they talking about? But if you want to rule the world, you need to be able to count higher than you can count. Or at the very least, know higher decimal places. You understand? They want you guys to know this stuff. Because their thing is, who are you kidding? How are you going to be a leader of a planet? You can't rule your own house right now. Let alone your house. Most of us can't rule ourselves right now. Okay. Now, they also told me to tell you, and I think I already did, quit calling yourselves families because you ain't no dang family. And you ain't no tribe. The tribe of Israel. You ain't no tribe. Pink people are tribal. We are the people, or the people. Was it? We used to be the people, or I'm the people, I'm one of the people, and we're the people, or the cats, or whatever, but we were always the people. Or empires, which means fire out, to press the fire out. Because the word em, em from empire means X. Empire is expire, which means breathe out. And pyre is also fire, which means fire pushed out. Okay, the brother said it's shin in Hebrew. All right, so you guys need to learn the geometry, learn the algebra, wean off the Federal Reserve notes. They also said this: unless you are, and you know for a fact that you are, the descendant of somebody that was brought here from Africa as a slave, stop claiming that, because most of you are not descendants of people that were brought here from Africa as slaves. During the whole entire slave trade, less than 3% of all the slaves traded, less than 3% of them were brought here from Africa. There were more people brought from here to Africa, and from here to Europe, and from South America to North America, and from South and North America to the Caribbean islands and so on, and back again, and that kind of thing. But not that many people were brought here from Africa as slaves on any slave ship. Now, if in fact your ancestors are amongst those people, then claim it and claim it with pride, because they survived. But stop claiming things that you have no evidence of just because somebody told you in school that that is your story, because they said it's not your story. It's not. Some of our people were captured here and enslaved here, tricked into servitude and tricked out of their properties through these servitudes, but it was not slavery as you know it today, or you think you know it. So they don't want you to claim that unless it applies to you. It's like, well, I know for a fact that my great-great-grandfather so-and-so was brought here as a slave because my mama told me, and this, that's different. But most people can't find no evidence of that. I saw 2 or 3 hands go up. Where the, yes, loud enough to be on this tape.
I was, where would I find validation for the fact of we being here in America taken to Africa, to the Caribbean, and so forth?
That information
I'm
is,
clear on it. I just want to know where I can find validation if I'm trying to tell somebody. Like you said, I don't want them to be me. I want to be able to have direct them to the source, or to a better source than my mouth.
well, they can go to the library. They can go on the internet. Let me think. The Empress of Washita was a good source if they can get a hold of her book. Even though she's wrong on a lot of the things that she's saying, she's right about other things that she's saying, not the Empress. I'm finna give you name another sister. This other sister, even though she's wrong on a lot of the things that she's saying, she's right on a lot of the things that she's saying. You can confer with Sister Reverend Ray Dime. She knows some things. There's a movie called 1492 about Columbus and them. And it shows how they came over here and they left here and took a bunch of people with them to Europe. And does anybody else have a book title? Because I can't give this brother a title. They Came Before Columbus by Ivan Van Sertima. Is that Ivan Van Sertima the book? No.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay, They Came Before Columbus. Anybody know any additional books for this brother?
Here's a book right here. It's called The Morning of the Magicians.
The Morning of the Magicians by who?
It was in French first. So the guy's name is Louis. His last name is P-A-W-W-E-L-S.
Name is Louis, P-A-U-W-E-L-S.
It's two bits, two of them. And Jacques, spelled J-A-C-Q-U-E-S.
And the co-author is Jacques.
That's a B-E-R, G-I-R, G-I-E-R.
B-R,
B-E-R,
B-E-R?
G-I-E-R.
G-I-E-R is the co-author.
And they're kind of explaining to you more so about this land and these people. As a matter of fact, because I wanted to read something to you from it.
Well, hold that thought. Look into the magazine, The Ancient American, also. Go ahead.
Well, I'm clear on us being here.
Right, you want evidence.
I'm
We're
talking
giving you
about
evidence.
slave trade, specifically of Americans being taken to Africa, to the Caribbean islands and so on.
Check with The Ancient American. That might be in there somewhere.
You said that's a article.
That's a magazine about your people. Go ahead.
Chancellor Williams.
Chancellor Williams' book, which one?
Yeah.
We need to move faster, though, because I'm going to let this brother read what he's saying.
Destruction of a black
Yeah, destruction of black civilization. That's Chancellor Williams.
Destruction of the Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. Come on, Brother Zakar, let's have what you got, honey.
This
Loud enough to be on this tape, baby.
This is coming from Adolf Hitler. It says official Western science, together with Judeo-Christian religion, with which it had something in common, was a conspiracy that had to be destroyed. It was directed against the strong man's awareness that he is part of a heroic and magical scheme of things, a vast conspiracy that would exclude humanity from any past or future outside the brief span of recorded civilizations, to cut him off from his origins and his fabulous destiny, and to prevent him from consuming with his gods.
And you know, I've heard that phraseology before, that we're supposed to be humanity and fallen humanity. I'll work with it for now. I know I'm not human, but work with what you can work with. Yeah. Discard it when you need to, accept what you need. Because a lot of things will be said out there about you that are not accurate, and you know the words are wrong, but sometimes you know they're still talking about you. Just take it for what it is. There's a movie, and it's not going to show you what you're talking about, but there's a movie, and it's corny. But there's a very powerful part in this movie. Has anybody seen the newest version of the Hulk?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Have you guys seen that part of the movie where the father is talking to his son after? Now remember what I said about emotions, brothers, in that lecture I did on moving energy to empower men? Yeah. And there's a part in the Hulk where they go, Angry man is on the loose.
Oh.
It's deep. But when they finally get the Hulk to calm down, because the angrier he got, the more off the chain it was. The angrier he got, the less they could do with him, because that melanin just kept kicking up, because that's what they were showing when he turned green. That was the whole concept of melanin. It just kept amplifying, and he just got tougher and tougher. But when he calmed down, and they used a pink woman to calm him down, he was sitting up, chained to a chair, and they brought his father that had created him, trying to make himself stronger. And his father told him, he was talking to him, and his son was like, "Stop, I don't want to hear it." And his father was like, and I can't quote it exactly, but it was something like this, he said, "Stop what? Stop what? You know, you tripping on me? Look at all these men out here with their guns and their uniforms.
That's right.
Look at all the harm they've done to you, to me, to humanity." He said, "Me and you, we can be like the heroes that walked the earth long before the pale religions of civilization infected humanity's soul." That's a quote. That's a quote. Do you guys remember that part of the movie? That was the deepest part of the whole freaking movie. I'm like, whoa.
Does anybody know the origin of the Hulk when it came on TV? With this,
It's supposed to be radiation something.
Yeah.
no. The guy that started the Hulk
Bill
when it
Bates.
came on TV.
Bill Bates and,
Do you know the basis?
No, what's the basis of the Hulk?
There was a woman in Pennsylvania, she was driving with her baby. And the car turned over. She came out. Sister went over and picked that car up, pulled that baby out. And they based that whole thing off of this woman, off this Moor's woman. Picked that whole car up and yanked her baby out. A woman. A Moor's woman. And they
I didn't know that. I know about the story.
They took this
I didn't know it was a sister.
they took this European to go into a lab and mix up all these chemicals to find out how this Moor's woman picked this car up and pulled her baby. This is true. She did it.
Yeah, we all heard that story.
And so it took this chemical guy.
Oh, we off the hook.
Okay, mix up all these chemicals.
It's time.
He couldn't do it. They can't do
He
it.
couldn't do it. He couldn't do it because he got in an accident and tried to say why he couldn't do it.
He couldn't do it.
And then he
Right.
kept going back to what the woman did, picking up the car.
Because we have a better drive.
We have melanin. We connect.
The melanin. Yes. It's that ancient move.
That car, God baby.
Let's hear this question.
I also like to add that I grew up with the story being told to me by my mother, what my great aunt had to do when the truck flipped over 3 times, and she just took her arm and backhand the window out and freed them out of the truck before the truck would catch on fire. So yeah, that's a known fact. So
Well,
she told me that as I was a youngster.
Cool. All right. One of the other things they wanted me to tell you guys to do is to activate just what we're talking about. Your dormant, latent power. That so many of our people are afraid of because they were told it was witchcraft, magic, voodoo. You have the capacity to communicate telepathically with someone without picking up any phone at all. That's something they created the phone because they couldn't do what we could do without a phone, without the phone. They needed the phone. We didn't need no phone. You know what I'm saying? Most of the technology, I won't forget Switty, most of the technology that they're dealing with, they built the technology just to try to emulate some of what we could do by nature, yes.
Just, what was the phrase you just used? Dormant,
Dormant, latent powers?
Yes, sir. That's all.
Okay.
I was just fine. I heard the syllables, but not the word.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I have information and instruction on how to communicate telepathically. It's very easy. There's a process that you can go through to tune it up. And I have instruction on audio cassette. I think the audio cassette is 2 tapes for $10. Or is it on CD? I bought it. I think it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
But you can order it.
It's gone.
Yes, 2 audio cassettes. They're only $10. You can order it and I can ship it back to you.
Is it called communication?
No, it's called telepathy.
Oh, no, the tape. The tape.
The tape is called telepathy. Yeah. Communications is gonna work on your communicating capacity and understanding others so that you don't clash with them. For example, if you're talking to someone and you know how you see some people and they have what you call similar family physical features. Some people you go, you know, your daughter looks a lot just like you. And some people go, oh, thank you. And other people go, no, she doesn't. She looks like herself. She has her own looks. I have my own looks. That's somebody that communicates differently. You're communicating by referencing what you see that's the same, and they're offended because they communicate by what they see that's different. So if you understand when somebody goes there on you, it's like, oh, you're a same person, so I need to deal with you on the same mode, or you're a difference person, so I need to deal with you in a difference modality. Or you're like, oh man, look at that, isn't that off the hook? It's like, man, I don't see it. I'm not feeling it. Then you go, oh, you're kinesthetic, you need to feel it, so I need to talk to you from a gut perspective as opposed to communicating with you from visual with your eyes perspective. That's what communications is about. I lost track of where I was getting ready to go. Some question came up and I got lost from there. Oh, we were talking about dormant powers. You have the capacity to astral project. Like I said, those little cassettes, those are only $5 that give you instruction on how to astral project. A lot of people have heard of it, and some people have tried it, and they can't do it, and they can't make it work, no matter how much they try. For a long time, I was trying this and I finally found something that was like, bam, it was so easy. I'm like, oh, shoot, I wish I had figured this out sooner. So I put that very easy process of astral projecting on an audio, because those are only $5. If there's any more of those back there. Are there any more of those back there? Those are gone too. I guess you can order those. I'm not sure what's back there, but you know, you might want to try to get anything that's going to help you evolve in your power between now and the close. Yes, sir.
I personally want to thank you. As we climb back up this Kabbalistic tree, and the title of your lecture is Piercing the Fall. And the fall is
That's what they call
Those are the resorts. The resorts in Jamaica.
But see, a pagan is a person by definition that is not a Christian soldier. How many people in here are pagans? You are not a Christian soldier. So you must be a pagan. But pagans are also considered
A-I-O-U, and sometimes Y is R-I. R-I is rest in Hebrew. So what are they doing? They're going to kill your soul. That is the idea, to kill your soul.
But they can only do it when you are not cognizant of the game, what it is, how it's played. Now you guys are cognizant. You see the game from savages to witches to communists to drug lords to terrorists. It's just the same game going